Hi everyone, I'm just moving my computer and stuff out of the way. I'm going to try and get the link for this so you can see what I'm doing. Let me find it. Nothing's showing. Sorry, my bad. It's not giving me a link yet, so no, not there. Okay, so we'll just keep going on. I will actually just copy the link, copy, and go to Facebook and do it there. So in the meantime, fiddle finding around, I will get ready for you. The camera is above me on this side, so I'm hoping it works okay for you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do is decorate this bag. So this is a Yazzii craft box fabric top bag, and it's $64.95 in the store online at michellespatchwork.com, or you can directly contact me through Facebook at Michelle's Patchwork and Art. This is the bag itself. Yeah, that's the open bag. It's in the green. It comes in all different colours. Now, obviously, because we're doing a demo on it, because there are no pockets on this side, so we can do it by machine, which is fabulous. So this is the pink one. That's how it comes. I'm hoping it's not too blurry on you. You can see it. It is. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So I'm just going to try and get it up and running so I can see what's going on. Bear with me. Now, this is a live stream, so welcome. I can see there's a couple people on. I'm just going to share the link. Facebook's giving me a bit of a hard time. And yes, so hi, say hello if you're here. And we'll get moving on it shortly when a couple of people rock up. So it's just not playing nice. Okay. It's Sunday morning. Let me just see if I can put that link there. There we go. And 11 a.m. here in Australia. I'll just explain what I have with me at the moment. I have my Yazzii bag, so that's the unopened package. So I have my Yazzii bag, which I've opened up, and it comes with these lovely 4 pockets that you can place all sorts of knickknacks and stuff in. Love pockets, love, love, love them. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use. It's just going to give me a hard time. I'm hoping the internet is playing nicely today. And I'm also going to use some decorative items that I have here that were, that one, yep. So I'm going to use these. So we can pretty much find most of this in our stash, but these are lovely. They've come from Yazzii. She's bought them in Yazzii, and I have them in stock, and I do live sales, which I'll be doing later on today. And they are great wholesale prices, and these are silks and brocade silks and handmade Indian embroidered patches, and just amazing things that you can use. So I'm just going to try and see if I can get this Facebook link up and running. So currently I'm going to use these. I've got this little patch here that has got all sorts of lovely brocade and ribbons, 5 meters to be exact, so plenty to do the job I need to do. I've got silk here, a silk blend. It does have a little patch in it as well, and the brocade silk, that's the green, and I've got a gold as well because I'm going green and gold. and a bit of pink. Now, to start with, I've measured my, I'll just pop them aside. I have measured my lid, which obviously it tells me on the box, you know, like here, it tells me on the box how big they are, but I did measure, okay? So just, you know, just measure twice, cut once type of scenario. So I measured and I've made it a little bit bigger, obviously, because I want to be able to cut it back. So I've just used a fabric for the back, any old fabric, whatever you've got. This is just a batik I had, and some wadding. So the area I'm going to cover is pretty much here. And I will start in the centre because we're going to do it as a quilt as you go decoration, and and we're going to work from the inside out. If you feel so inclined, you can rule the edge if you want to, and there's no reason why you can't. But myself, I don't feel that I need to do that. But what I do need to do, I just need to pop my little box aside for a minute, and I'm going to start by opening up some of these treasures. So bear with me while I get myself organised and try and get this Facebook thing up so I can share the link. If anyone else can share the link as well on Facebook, that'd be fantastic. And we can get some people up and running, because at the moment it seems I have about 2 or 3 people, and I'd really like to get some people up and sharing this video. My machine is a Janome Horizon 14,000. And I have my walking foot on. Needle is a size 90, and I have popped some Wonderfeel thread on the top. I'm hoping it'll work nicely with me today. And I have a Deco Bob pre-wound bobbin in the centre. Now, these patches are not readily available. You can get all different types, but you can see they're definitely handmade. That's the back of it. It's cut very close, but with what I'm doing, that's not going to be an issue. I do have my little iron here, so I can just give it a very quick press to make it nice and flat. It does have a little mark on it, but you know, I'm not stressed with that. That's no big deal. Hi Karen, how you going? I'm still having a massive amount of trouble trying to get Facebook up. So I can't seem to share this. So if you're able to share that on Facebook, that would be super awesome. I might even just see if I can just go to my normal page. Just refresh. Come on, baby. So first things first, I'm going to sew this down. I also need my eyeballs. All right, so for me to see what I'm doing, I need eyeballs on. So first things first, I need to stitch around this, and I'm going to just stitch a straight stitch around the edge of it. It doesn't really matter to start with, because it's made with like a really movable fabric. It's got like quite a stretch in it. I will pin it down just out of my sewing reach, just top and bottom, just to hold it in place. If you wanted to, you could stabilise it, but I think it's a bit of an overkill for such a small piece of fabric. Now, again, Facebook is really being naughty. I hope the video is okay with this. If there's any problems with video or sound, please let me know. I'm just going to try and open up another screen, so bear with me. New window, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my machine, and I'm going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to stitch. So bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to zoom in as far as I can go. I'm going to see all my mess in the background. I'm going to zoom in there and move the camera forward. I'm basically going to see what I'm going to do. Placing it under the machine, and I'm going to stitch just around the edge any old way. I'm using a walking foot because of the 3 layers of fabric. You don't have to, but I find that I have less issues I don't go amazingly fast when I do this, but you know, it's up to you. It's all personal desire. But the first one with any kind of quilt as you go or crazy patchwork of any kind, you do need to stitch down your first one. And you'll notice I'm pretty much stitching some straight lines, but I'm putting a couple of angles in. Hi, Judy. Hi, Beverly. How you going? All right. Good to see you here. So I was going to post a link, and I'm having all sorts of trouble getting Facebook up and running. It's just been a real hoot this morning. So just stitching along there, lifting up as I go. Take my pins out because they will irritate me. Cut off my little threads. Can't have dags. So once I get to the end, I'm just going to reverse stitch just to not like stitch it off and then cut off. Now you can see I've come in, oops, Daisy, I need to bring the camera back, don't I? So let's go drop it down to where we are. There we go. Zoom in, baby. There we go. You can see I've got this little corner here. I'm going to just trim it back manually with a pair of scissors just because it'll irritate later. Okay, anything that's excess, I will trim off, and I do tend to do the quick scissor one. Had problems getting onto YouTube. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting onto Facebook. Actually, I think it's typically the weather today is very windy and very icky. So I'm going to, now I've done that. That's the first start of it. So now I've done that, I'm actually going to open up some of these brocades and stuff that I've got here just for you to see. Now, a lot of you have actually purchased some of these. These you haven't seen yet. So I'm going to show you these later on today. You're going to get to see those and some of these silk blends. And they have their own little patching in there as well, which is as cute as a button. It actually has a little shiny diamondy thing in there, but it's got the lovely silk. It does look a little bit dull in light and stuff. Let me turn my light on. That might help. There we go. It's a bit of light. And I also have the lovely gold one as well. So we're going to use that. And of course, like I said, we're going to also use some of these beautiful trims as well. Now, move this plastic out of the way. My first thing is I need to figure out what I'm going to put next to my patch. So the patch, good morning, Pat. How are you, darling? My patch needs to have something around it, and I think that we need to have something that makes the patch actually, you know, pop. So I'm looking at these greens and golds, and I think, yeah, you know, that's really awesome. But I'm looking at hot pink, and yeah, that's going to make it nice and poppy. So I'm thinking that to start with, I'm actually going to use some of the hot pink. Now, this is a silk blend, so it's lots and lots of frayed edges, so you do need to be very quick when you use it and not too much handling. So you can see that it's quite a nice quality fabric. I am going to just cut a random piece. If you missed the start of this, I apologise, but you will be able to see this later. Hi, Kath, how you going? So I'm just cutting a piece like that. I'm going to want to put it to the side. I can see there's a little bit of a stain there. It's obviously something when they've originally made it, and it's going to fold over like that, okay? So first things first, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to put this beautiful lace over the top, and I really think that that would be just gorgeous over the top of that, or on its own. No, I like it over the top. So let's just cut a piece of this. Sorry about the camera move. My chair just moved. Let's cut a piece of this, and let's make it about that size, so it's like I can handle it, because otherwise it's too long. And let's just cut a random piece. That pale pink looks gorgeous too. Oh, it's just stunning. So I'm going to use the both. So I'm going to put one like that and one like that. So their edges are meeting, just like that. Face it downwards because I want it in the down. And I am going to end up stitching over some of this because it's so close. But I don't think that that's going to be a major issue. I'm going to pin this one down because it's got two lots of fabric there that, you know, will move. So I'm just going to pin that down. My granddaughter would love that pink too. Yes, I do have some of this later on today on Facebook. You'll see that and it'll be up for sale. So there's lots of colour ranges. So you just wait till then and we will get, and I'll be able to show you some of that. So yeah, Facebook is just not letting me do it at all. It's just going to go away. All right, so a little bit more. Lifting. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to stitch from here across just to cover that side edge. All right, so let me move that camera up again. Back over to there. Zooming, we're zooming in. We're as close as we can get. There we go. And take it over here. And I'm still using the same green thread. I haven't changed anything. I'm not changing anything. Put down, needle down, go forward and go back. Make sure you lock that in. And I'm coming in about a quarter of an inch. And then I'm just going to get to that green spot underneath. I'm just going to make sure I go right to the end of it. And then I'm going to stitch it back. Stitch backwards. Cut off those threads. If I haven't covered that one because it's a piece of fabric, yeah, that's pretty good, then I will then I will come back and stitch it in, but I think that's pretty good. So going to fold that over. Okay, so turn it around so you can see it. And that is just going to sit there now until I do the next piece, which is going to come across. I'm not going to leave it this big, it's massive, but I am going to just pin it down because it's so big, it'll flop around. Okay, it's going to do lots of flopping. So let's just pin that down and make our life easy, keeping the pin well out of any sewing area. So I've started here and my next seam is going to come across. To start with, I'm thinking, let's try and get this camera in the right spot. There we go. It's probably going to have to be somewhere there. And even though it looks like I'm cutting off a lot of waste, I can use this. So I'm not wasting anything at the current time. So I'm going to stitch across there and put the next piece on. Okay, so turning it this way. I'm going to get the next colour. Now, here is where I can be a little bit sneaky. I can cut off a bit under here because rather than waste, cut it off. These scissors need sharpening, to be honest. Just trim that off. A bit of a hack job. That's right. And I can place that along there. It's long enough to cover that area. And again, I am going to pin this because it does have a lot of movement. And just place that there. And I want to stitch from around about here, probably to there. And then I'm going to come back. So give me 2 seconds to stitch that down. And you'll see what I mean. Okay, and there's a reason why I've left this really nice, shiny, amazing looking green thread on, because when I get to doing these top decorations, I want to have that really nice green on there, okay? So then I have that little bit there left over. I'm still thinking about that So I'm thinking that it might go on the second round, like we go around and around, so it might go on the second round. So bring that out a bit so you can see more of the picture. Okay, next one is we're going to come across here. Now, I can have this as big as it is, or I can make it a bit smaller, which I think I probably will. So I can just trim that off. Again, I can use that laterer. Pin that down again, just out of the way. Now, I've used a bit of a teak on the back, but you can use calico if you've got it. I just didn't have it in stock. So I did pin that down the backing. Don't want to do that. Just pin that down there. There we go. Just put a post up on Facebook and the Green Dragon's your life now. Thank you. Yeah, I want to share the link and it's just not giving me any love today. I should try on my phone. So now I'm going to need to do this one, which means this pin might get in the way. So come from this direction just to keep it out of the way. I am going to end up having to trim off some of this. And I'm thinking, because I've got this really nice broad, really lovely trim, and I think that that will go there perfectly. So let's just snip it off, lay it down. You've got to lay it level with that seam there. Don't try and put it there and then sew it down. It needs to be there and flipped. So make sure you got it right sides down. And with this one, I can literally just, you know, sit it there, but you can see it's got a bit of a curl up on it. So I am going to pin it just down and bring that up there. Sewing machine, and you see what I mean. I'm going to come across that pink one there and needle down, oops daisy, forward and back. It's still only a 1/4 inch, nothing more. Right across, stitch that down and cut off. Okay, take that out and then I can fold over. Now I'll move that camera for you guys. There we go. Right there. And I can fold that over. You can see I've got all this excess here. You can use your blade or you can cut the scissors. Either is fine. It's a nice thick ribbon. It will hold and cover beautifully. Then we're going to, now if you notice, see I missed this. Can you see that there? So if I show you here, I've sewn it down, but I've missed that seam. Look at that. So let's fix that right here and right now. Let's find an embellishment. Come on. Come on now. There we go. And that is going to go across there. So no mistakes in this. You don't have to unpick. If you don't want to, you can embellish. So let's do that. I will grab another pin. I've got about 4 pins in here that I don't probably want. And I'll just pin that down just to hold it in place. And trim it off. That down. Take her over the machine. And this time I can see from the top, I'll take the pin out now, from the top that I need to make sure that that is going to cover that seam beautifully. All right. So again, just a straight stitch and stitch it down right through the centre. It's just going to hold that in place for me and cover up 1,000 seams. Cool as that. Done. Bang. I don't have to worry about making that look any prettier than it is. I can now take that out and work on this way. All right. So I'm thinking we need some gold, maybe even some green. So let's cut up some of this brocade. Now, just a random square. Oops, the days. And we're going to cut across, or sew across, I should say, across from there to there. I'm going to cover from right there to there. Again, I've got that little seam there, so I just need to come in a little bit closer inside so that I'm catching that. And we will go back to machine. I haven't pinned this one, I've just placed it down, foot down, needle down, hold it in place, forward and back, and then all the way across. And I've given it a bigger seam just so I catch right to the end and reverse sew, like reverse stitch and come back. And then we've got some beautiful gold. There she is, all down there. Now I can take that pin out of there and just pop it over here just to hold it down, just so it doesn't, you know, drive me nuts. I'm probably going to cut it in half actually, so I'll bring that in because I don't need it that thick. That's just overkill. So it defeats the purpose of doing this, doesn't it? And then I can use that other piece later. I think it's the wadding in my way. There we go. All right, I'm actually going to come across this and cut off the angle, the point, so that I can, you know, sort of give it another direction so it doesn't look square as such. So I'm going to take the corner off, and I am going to use to do that little bit of pink I had left over, just to come across that corner, keep that pin out of the way. So I'll take that to the machine and bring it back and show you what I mean. So I've just sewn across there, just trimmed off the bits, and basically when I fold it over, it just takes the corner off. So it stops it from being like full on square. So I see how square that is. I'm going to probably come across with an embellishment across the top there and just take off the starkness of the square edge, that big square, straight line. I'm just going to, actually, I don't need another pin. I could probably take that one out and just pin that down there and come across here. And, you know, this is where I need to probably trim. I can come across on that angle, which will help with this straight line. So I'm thinking I'll come across there. Oh, no, Judy, you don't have to unpick. Yeah, no, we don't. We try not to with these sort of things. That's such an unnecessary move. It is. The idea is to, you know, make it as simple as possible without really, you know, having to do any reverse sewing. All right, so we're going to come across. So I'm going to come across from this angle here, and I'm literally going to come across into the embroidery. I know you think, oh my God, you know, it just takes away. No, it doesn't take away from the embroidery. It is all perfectly fine. So now I'm sort of thinking I might just throw, I know it's a different green, but I think it will still create some pop and give me a different texture. And the beauty of the brocade, you can actually use the reverse side. Look at that. Look at all that. So, you know, there's no reason why not. So let's just grab a bit of brocade. And you can see how much fabric you really use, you know. Alicia enjoyed doing crease. Oh, good. I'm glad. That's awesome. I do have a selvage, so I need to make sure I go past that selvage, so that selvaging, which actually gives me a stitch line. Funny enough. So also I can see that I'm only going to come up to probably where that pin is. So before I stitch, I'm just going to throw that under there. Come on, like that. And then I'm going to come across on an angle to there and see what happens. All right. Excuse me. So that'll hold down flat in a minute. Right there. Okay. And I'm going to basically stitch right across there. I'll bring it straight back. Sorry about the blank screen. You don't have any picture there. Sorry about that. Put my hand there. That's nice and pretty. All right. So flip her over. Oh, look, I missed another bit. Oh, my God. What am I going to do there? Well, I know. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm literally going to get another bit of trim and go, fantastic, how cool is that? I can go right across there, or I can get this again, it's nice and thick, work perfectly. I can get this one, it's quite blingy, that would be nice. I think I like the blingy one. So we've got a big, big miss, so we need to fill that right in. So I'm thinking we'll go bling, and that should do it. So let's do that. Let's trim that off and let's pin it and stitch it down. Okay, I'll just hold it there because I think I should be able to do that without any issues. I'll just move the camera this time. There we go. Yes, please, would love to see your fabric, Judy. I must show you the Japanese fabric pad that I had for Crazy Patchwork years ago. Oh, yes, beautiful. Japanese fabrics are beautiful for that. So foot down again, needle down, just to hang it in place, go across there. And I'm just stitching straight down the centre. If you feel that you need a second row of stitching, please just do it. Just make yourself feel more comfortable. And I can see that I've got a little spot here, which I'm going to zoom down into. Just there. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. A little bit of a stitch spot there. And guess what I got given to me in my little pack? So I got this. If I can open the little darling. There you go. So I think that will go nice there. I'll just open it up. And it comes with that silk pack, sorry. It's a little patch. That's going to go perfect just there, just like that. So I can do that later. All right, but that just shows you. Don't stress, don't worry, don't have to unpick. Let's just keep moving. I'm going to come across here and really create an angle so that, you know, it just creates more interest. I don't like really, see how straight they are? I'm probably going to come in and do some, you know, some sort of embellishment of some sort because I just don't like it. So, you know, you can come in with another ribbon. Oh, they did have another one here. There it is. This one. It's only $3 a metre, which is fabulous. And I'm going to probably come across and, you know, throw it in there. Why not? Why wouldn't you? So that will happen. And I can do it over and across 2 or 3 layers. So I'm thinking I might even just pop it in now. That can go right in there. And then it'll go underneath other things. So that'll be perfect. Give her a trim. It's only cut out and not sewn. That's all right, Judy. It will get sewn eventually. So that's going to go across there just nicely. And I'm going to just put a pin right down the centre, move the camera to the machine and show you that I'm going to stitch on either side. I still have my green thread in. So it's no biggie. I'm going to stitch down one side and then down the other. Just remove my pin. I mean, you can hand sew this down afterwards if you wanted to, but me, that's just way too much time and effort. So I'm just going to turn it, stitch across, and come down the other side. Blind man would love to see it. Look at okay. So you'll get it all done. Yeah, exactly, Pat, she will. She will. You know, these things are, we do these things and we set ourselves up with these wonderful tasks and we just need to, you know, we get time eventually. We just got to find the right time and sit down and do them. And, you know, these little videos, there's no reason why you can't sit there with your own project on the go and just do it at the same time. You know, it doesn't make any difference. Here's where this bit of gold that I cut off before is going to come in real handy. It's going to come across, probably on there, and I'm going to come right across, you know, from here to here. But I do want to take some of this off because it is way too massive. And I'm just going to put that there. Try not to miss a seam this time. That'll be super awesome. Just across on that angle. And just looking at my angles. There we go. And I'm going to come across from there to there. Move the camera again. Just back over to the thingy. There we go. You see sort of what I'm doing then. Hang on. All right, let's go again. So this project, I am dawdling, but this project, it shouldn't take you too long. And any bag type or any handbag or any piece of clothing, anything you want to decorate, you could do this with. This is just not rocket science. Nothing I do is rocket science. So then you can see I've got to fold that over. And I do have, I'll just take a camera so you can actually see them. You can see I've got all this stitch there. I'm just going to cut away what I can and not do any major reverse sewing or anything, just to get rid of just a little bit of excess bulk. There we go. Doesn't matter if there's underneath there, no one's going to care. We'll see it. So that can go across there nicely. I can pin that baby down. And actually I might move it way over here because I'm going to want to come across here. So my next, see that one there? I've got to actually sew that down. So I need to come across on a funky angle. All right. So to do that, I need to pick a fabric. So let's go with, I could put that one there now, blah, blah. Maybe that one. Or I could actually put that ribbon there. No, a bit of an overkill. Let's go back to the green. I think the green would look awesome. Put that other little bit of green there. Let's go. I might actually come across on that angle. Come across there. So I need a bigger piece of green. So let's cut one. And I'm a shocker, so I'm just cutting wherever I can find it. So be horrified, if you will. All right, let's go. So that's my seam, my what they call it, the selvage. I need to come across on that angle, and I want to try and catch that little bit there if I can. So I'm going to need to sew right on there, just to hold it down. And pop that in there. Make sure my pin is out of the way, which it will be. I need to pin there, so let me just put that big booger there, just so I can see where I've got to go to. Move it back to the machine. And let's go right across. And don't be frightened to come in a little bit and take, take a bit off that gold or whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll use that later. It'll go somewhere. There's no, real waste with these in regards to that. I've got little bits, tiny little bits, but that's really nothing. I mean, the amount of fabric we can waste on some quilts is just massive. So I don't think that's major. This is a good stash buster. So let's just, I'm going to just trim that little bit of gold back and fold that over. And I've done it. I've actually come across and got rid of that little gap there, created a better angle, and not joined up two greens together because I didn't want them joined. I wanted a gap between them, and that is ready now for a nice gold piece, because having a gold going across there will actually symmetrical, be a bit more symmetrical for me. So let's grab a little bit of gold. My computer keeps telling me that I need to upgrade some, I don't know, Norton crap. Anyway, so we're going to go there. And I know I don't want that too wide, so that's going to be fine. Just going to cut that selvage off there a little because it's distracting. And I want to come across from there to there, knowing that I'm only going to sew to here. So eventually I'm going to actually trim a lot of this off, but I'll wait until I get around there and then I'll do it. Grab a pin just to hold it down because all this silk is very soft and tends to move. It's got a lot of movement in it. Thank you. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm happy to help. So, stitching. So all these fabrics you buy and all these scrap bits and everything, these all come in handy. All these ribbons and everything else. I have been busy, missed the post, but I'm here now. Sorry, darling. I had trouble getting onto my what do they call it, Facebook today. So Redo, I really didn't have much of a chance to get on and actually tell everyone about the link. I tried to do it just before, but I don't know if it worked. Okay, you'll be able to catch up because it will replay later once it loads. That's going to go there. That's going to give me that edge. I'll just see if I can get this in the camera line. Where's the camera? There it is. Up there. Yeah, wrong way. Silk fabric tend to move heaps if you don't pin it. Yeah, yep. And a lot of people with silk fabric will use a fabric stabilizer, but with this we don't have to because we're sort of literally stitch and flip. There's no time for it to move between. It's not really a seam as such. We're really just stitching it right down really quickly. So the next one, and I'm going to leave, that's going to be my edge piece there, and we're going to leave that, and I'm going to want to stitch across here. And again, I do have that bit of silk. It's not quite big enough. Oh, sorry, the nice blingy one. I am going to pop that across there. Get out some of those. And I'm going to stitch from right here and right across. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. There it is. From here right across. Again, moving camera. Here we go. So I'm going to come onto the edge of the fabric. And straight across, grab it all. With the batik fabric, I didn't need to pin as much because it doesn't move like silk. And you'll notice, of course, I'm doing right side facing down, so don't sort of be tricked into having it the other way up. You want right sides facing down, and so you can see what you're doing. I think that's about there. Oops, the days. There you go. You'll be dizzy. Now let's trim that off. Not going to worry about that yet. That's going to go over there. Now you're going to see right behind that. You can see how it's white behind. Yeah, I'm not overly keen on the white behind thing, but at this present time, I'm going to leave it because it's probably only going to be like a corner of it. The other option I have is getting a little bit of, that scrap piece and popping that just behind like that, just sitting it there. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Just sitting it there. So I've sat that piece there, just sitting. And that gives it a double layer, but without adding the dark pink behind it. So it still looks light, okay? Then I'm going to get that monstrous pin and just pin that down, those layers. And I'm going to move the camera again because it's irritating me. There we go. And down. There we go. That's better. All right, so under that, I have this tiny piece here. And I've just pinned it underneath. It's just going to give me a second layer, but without seeing all this white. Okay, you can see how you could see where it is there. That's just going to stay there. This is massive. It's covering the whole piece. I will cut that away. But to start with, let me turn it. And I'm going to just come in here with the scissors and just cut to the edge of there. Come on, baby. Be nice with me. Just to there. And I'm going to cut here, now and now, there, up to there. Now I can see I've still got a bit of a gap there where the white is. This little bit of pink that's hanging off the edge is going to sit under there just beautifully. So I'm just going to flip it up and place it under. Doesn't have to be sewn. It's just sitting under there. Get another pin. just to hold that down. All right, what's the daisy? Press the button. So, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, touched it with your nail. All right, just to hold that in place. All right. Now, my next thing is to come across and stitch. Oops, so I need to hold it this way so you can see. I've got to come across. So I've done that one. I've got to come across here, but I really want to try and catch that pink in. But you can see there's a nice big hole. Oops, where are we? This way. There we are. Bit of a gap. So I need to come across there eventually as well. So I'm going to sew across. I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking what direction I've got to go in. So I'm going to sew. Actually going to sew on this pink one, come across here so that I create something to flip that way, and then I can come across. So I'm just umming and ahhing as to which direction I sort of come and go in. Now, I haven't got any green on that side, so I'm thinking it's about time I chuck some green in there. So I'll grab another bit of green. And even cutting silk can be quite glorious. Today's just a bit pink. And I think I need to, I haven't done an embellishment for a bit, so I need to get that on there too. I don't really want my greens touching. Where is it? Oh, the wrong way. There we go. So I don't really want those greens touching. So I need to sort of come across this way and stitch to there and then have something come across in the other direction. So that's going to go across there beautifully, making sure that that pin is well out of my way. And I'm going to stitch right across to, let me just get that over there. I want to make sure I catch that there nicely. And I'm going to leave that pin underneath there. I'm going to put another one just here. And I'm going to come from this end all the way across up to around about halfway through that hot pink one there. So my camera works a bit crappy, but I'm on my own. There we go. So right across from the edge of the fabric, all the way, put down, needle down. I'm going to come right across. So that should catch that little bit of pink that I chucked underneath there nicely. And I'm not running over my pin. And I'm also really contemplating another embellishment. Just where that hot pink and that is, but I'll see what it comes up with. All right, take those out. There we go. You can see there's quite a bit under there. We'll trim that off in a minute. But that's going to cover that corner nicely. Let's see if I can get that in the camera for you. There you go. All right, so that corner now is looking really cute. All right, so let's trim off this little excess. So I didn't need that in there after all, but we just want to make sure we double, measure twice, cut once type thing. So got that all in there. A little bit excess pink there. Just take that out. Give it a bit of a shake. Get all that out. Flip her over. And you see I've still got that little bit there, but I'm thinking embellishment coming across here, which will fix that up beautifully. So, and we're going to come across on that angle. I'm okay with this being that wide. It's not going to stay that wide. Okay, so you can see there how wide it is. So that, I don't need to have that pin in there anymore because that's not going anywhere, that little bit of silk pink in there. I'm going to hold that down there, stop it from flapping around, and we need to come across here. And that's going to end up getting cut off. That's going to mean the two greens are not going to meet, and that is just perfect for what I would want. Now, here's where we go. Do we, and I think we do, do we go something like that as well? I think so. I think we need to stop those two greens from meeting and pop that there. So whatever fabric I put across there is going to have an embellishment over the top. So maybe thinking hot pink, even though there's a hot pink there, it's going to get covered up pretty much by the ribbon. So I'm going to grab a little bit more because the one I have in my cutoffs is not big enough. I'm going to grab out a bigger piece, and some of those shot silks and that we had the other day too would be perfect. This is quite thin. You can see it's quite thin. So I'm going to double it over and go across there like that and take it to the machine. Just going to pin that there like that. Okay, take it to the machine and go right across from there. And like I say, I can always cut that back. I can change the direction. It doesn't really matter. That's the beauty of all this crazy quilting. It's just quilt as you go stuff. It really is useful to finishing projects off really quickly. All right, so then that'll flip over. See, so you can't see because I didn't have the camera in the right direction. So that's flipped over, and that doesn't look strange. It's got two pins. They're a different shape. Little thread there. That pin can come out. So effectively, I really don't have many pins left in here. That's going to look good folded over there. I'm going to get rid of my excess because I can. Trim that off. Come on, don't cut the back. That would be really disastrous. And just trim that back there. There we go. Don't worry about your little skank. If you really wanted to unpick them, you could, but you're not going to see them. All right? So don't stress about those little tiny dispersions. That is nothing to worry about. Then we're going to put that there. All right? I reckon that's going to look on these balls. So we're going to have it's that one. What do you think? I think that one. We haven't actually used that one. Yeah, I do like that one. I think I'll go that one. Again, take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch down one side and up the other and show you how that works. That's the actual machine. Place that under like that. I've just got the pin on the floor. Across. And it's funny, sometimes I get to the machine and I go, oh, that's not exactly where I had it before, but in the scheme of things, it's not really good. Across there. And come down this side. And cut off. I keep dropping pins today. I'm shocking. All right, so bring that down here. There we go. And we've got that stitched down now. Looking perfect. Keep moving my camera. There we go. All right, all stitched down beautifully. Now, we now need to come across here. This is going to need to be pinned because it's really quite baggy. So we'll stitch that down in a minute, but it's going to go across here. Again, we need to look at what we're using and what we're going to do. I have a couple of options, and my main option is, where's she gone? Oh, I threw it and missed it. I buried it. There it is. Is I'm thinking that one. Okay, so that is going to be stitched down there, and I do need to pin because she is quite wide, and I'm going to make sure that I miss that stitch, and I'm going to go right off to the edge of the fabric. So I'm going to pin that end as well, just to stop it from curling, and then I can cut off at the edge of the fabric. All right, so we're going to sew that down. Simple, isn't it? It's not rocket science. You know I don't do rocket science. Down. Hold down your silk. She likes to move. see, having, sorry, my camera's not in the right spot, having the walking foot on does make a massive difference, just saying, even with the silk, all right, because it just helps move. If you've got IDT with your faff, that's perfect as well, because it does help move the fabric at the same time as the needle, right? And then that's going to go across there. Beautiful. All right, so pin it down, because it's unruly. So one now, and I'm going to pop. Now, I know that you can see it's quite a big gap between here and here. Oh, I've gone the wrong way again. Here and here. Because our next stitch really needs to be coming across because we're going around in a circle. But I do need to do another one here before I come across, just to build it up to come over to this side, all right? And you'll see what I mean, because if I was to actually now sew across here, right, I'm sort of going to get this funny shape in the corner. So I'm literally going to sew something else in here. And what I'm going to use, where is it? No, it's not that one. You see that one? I don't know whether that will do anything there. I'm just sort of looking at stuff in my options. I'm thinking that, oh, that was my fat head. Sorry. I do the pink, maybe with the pink lace. I'm thinking that might help. All right. So we get a bit of pink. There it is. And cut a nice big piece because we want to cover a lot of that corner, but I don't want it the same, like I said. Don't want it the same as this here on this side. We're going to cover it like that. And I don't want it exactly the same as over here. So I'll just move that camera down a little bit more. There we go. So what I want to do is, again, have that over the top. And I might just do that. I think I just want to make sure it covers that piece. It's going to cover it. It's not. So I need a bigger piece. Here's one piece. And trim that off there. So that's going to go there. So I want it to cover the whole corner. You see the whole corner there? There it is. And I'll need that underneath. Long edge. There it is. Now that all needs to be pinned down really well. It is going to move a lot. So nice big fat pins. Love my big pearl head pins. I keep everything in place. There is a pin there. I'm just going to take it out from underneath. There it is. And just one pin. Just double checking there's only one there. I'm sure. Wood. I thought I put two on there, but I must have put one. Yep, all good. So I'm going to sew from this edge to that edge. Okay, so that edge to that edge. All right, so let's do that at the machine. Let's go over here. Make sure your backing is still flat the whole time. You want to be just checking each time you move it from the table to the machine. You just want to make sure that your backing fabric, this stuff here that keeps it sliding nicely under your machine, is being nice to you and not gathering up and catching underneath. I can see that is going. I've given this a big seam, which is fine, makes no diff. And you can do the same. Now I know that I'm literally going over the edge of the fabric right to the end of that wadding. That works beautifully for what I want, because I want it to catch that whole corner just like that. Okay, there we go. So I'll flip it over again so you can see where it was. There's the corner. There it is there. And I flip both those fabrics, just making sure the silk is down, then the lace. So that then is going to get pinned, and I'm going to trim off the excess in a sec. I'm just going to might pin in the center, and I'm going to pin on this side, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to just trim from this side Okay. Just so I can trim it to at least the edge of this. It can go further, just to keep it under control. That's that done. So instead of it being this massive, great big piece of silk or ribbon or whatever, it's now down to something I can manage. Obviously, it's not going to be that big because my wadding finishes about here. All right, but that just keeps that corner under control. I can, if I want to, I can come back in and I can see that the finish is about here. I can come and put another sort of ribbon or, you know, some sort of embellishment across there, which would probably look really nice. So we might as well do that now, and that will get that corner under control completely. All right, and that'll help hold it down. See? So I'll grab that pin there and pin it there, and this one, and pin there, this one, and I can see the edge of the fabric, so just trim off. I'm going to sew that down, and that'll keep that corner under control. Right, hopefully my camera doesn't move again while I'm sewing. Take that needle out. Don't try and run over those great big pins. They will throw your timing out on your machine and you'll be very angry. All right, so that just gets us to the end there. Down here, straight down. Nice. There we go. So that now gets that corner completely under control. And I don't have to worry about pinning that bit down now. I'm not going to be touching that again. What I do need to do is come across from this angle, or I can come across this angle working that way, which I think I might actually do. So from here across, I can see that I've got the green, I've got the gold, so I need something other than those two. And obviously I'm going to go with the pink because the only colour I don't have going across there. So I grab a nice big bit, and it's not going to clash, or, you know, it's not going to be the same as what's going on in the corner over here, okay? So I can come across here, and what I'm thinking is, just to make it a little bit more interesting, I have this, oh, I've just tied it up in knots. I have this cording. You can see the cording. I can actually stitch them. I probably won't be able to do it with my foot that I've got on my machine at the moment. I would need like a zipper foot or cording foot. So I could place that in there and stitch that down in the seam, or I can do what I'm going to do and actually use my walking foot and stitch it down a different way. So I'm going to come right across there. So that's going to literally trim that right off, which is going to be brilliant. And I just need to make sure I miss that little corner so I don't create issues. Take it back over to the machine. Back over here. Work from off of the wadding and just make sure that as I'm stitching along, because you love how silk moves, that I'm actually coming to the direction it needs to be and covering over that little sort of dog leg there. But I want to come to the edge of this side as well, so I want to go all the way across. It's creating a really big seam, but I'm going to adjust it up in a minute. Right to the edge and cut off. Has anyone else gone to sleep? You're all still awake? All right. So we've been going for about an hour. We've nearly got there. We've done a lot of decorating. Very little amount of effort, to be honest. Take that off. Take that off. Okay, we can cut that back a little if we want to. Still there, Pat. Oh, good to see. Haven't sent you to sleep yet. I can leave that on if I want to. I can trim it off, whatever you desire. You know, like I say, it's really not going to be that much of an issue. Just a little bit of that extra bulk out. Flip her over. Now, let's see if I can tackle this baby in here, just like that, with the walking foot. Now I'm going to go past, see it's got a little bit of a frayed edge because it's such a rope type of effect. Give it a little bit of extra. And let's see if we can make this work. And pin it down. Because if I can avoid changing a needle, I should be sewing, but I'm watching you. Okay. You can sew at the same time, Pat. I don't mind. Well, just about stabbed myself then. Yeah, so I'm going to try. Excuse me. And see if I can get that to stay in one spot. All right, so that's what it's going to do. Let's turn that over here. Don't see why it won't, because it's a walking foot. It should just grab what's there and sew it down. So needle down. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's just grabbing it and sewing down. Okay. And back down. Excuse me. Have a dry throat. All right. I just did piping without having to put another foot on. It does the same thing. Now, if I'm wanting to and just cover that up, I can always get another ribbon of some sort, whatever I like, and just put it along it. Why not? You know, there's no right and wrong here, is there? We've got to remember that. So we just got to figure out which one we want. And I'm thinking that plainer one might look quite good going across there. It's not, because there's plenty of bling. It doesn't need any more. So I'm just going to quickly sew that down. Oh, you're there too, Judy. Good to see. You haven't vanished from me. Gone to sleep somewhere in the corner. All right, so I'm going to stitch right down on the edge of that line again, right next to the piping. I haven't changed my thread. It's still bright green. And I'm going to show you in a minute why I'm leaving it bright green. Stitch there. Stop that. And I'm just going to change my stitch up now. And I'm going to do, find it, something that will suit, not too, you know, extra. That'll do it. So, needle down, and I'm going to do that one. Yeah. Fingers crossed that I don't smash my foot. Oh, I just broke my needle, my thread. That was stupid. Try again. Maybe that would be too easy. You know how much I love threading my machine. Yeah, now be nice to Mother. All right, let's try again. Because it's going through so many layers, I might really crack it. So I might have to slow it right down and see what we do. There we go. So are there any questions at the moment that you can think of? Anything that you need to know? Or I'm using a stitch, like a little star, and I'm literally just stitching along the edge of the ribbon and the fabric just to create a nice sort of bright green decorative pattern. And that'll stitch the edge of that ribbon down as well as giving it a decoration. Okay, any questions at all? You want to know how I'm going to attach this, don't you? This is where the fun comes in. So once we get this stitch, it'll take a few minutes because she's going a bit slow. I'll see if I can speed it up without snapping the thread. But because it's nice and shiny and there's a lot of layers, it might just snap it. Okay. So turning something like this, which can be, you know, I mean, it's got gold in it and everything, but still, you know, it's reasonably plain. It's just pink and gold. There's no, like, pattern as such. It's just stripes. It's quite easy to do with your machine. So whether you've got a $300 machine or a $3,000 or a $30,000 machine, you can still do this on your machine. All right, this is not rocket science. If you like to do them by hand, you can also do it by hand. Me personally, I'm not going to live long enough to do everything by hand, so that's not going to happen. And I'm using, yes, my walking foot, and it works. Don't forget to share the video for those who you think might enjoy, you know, doing a little bit of quilt as you go and crazy patchwork. I think it's one of those things that gets overlooked. And I think it's really, really awesome. Right. Well and truly done. There we go. That looks great. Just tuned in. Hi, Donna. It's the first fun day for weeks here, so had to get the outside chores done first. Yeah, I can imagine. So you can see that little decorative stitch there. Let's see if it'll zoom in for me. Let's see if I can get the camera to do what it needs to do. There it goes. So it's a little tiny little floral stitch there. Bugger missed the start. Hi, girls. Hi, Lynette. That's okay. It'll play again later. Once it uploads, it'll play again. But you can see the way it's going. It's going to be looking pretty bloody awesome. So I've just attached that with a straight stitch on one side. I've got the piping, okay, the straight stitch. It's a ribbon over the top of the silk. And then I've done a decorative stitch down the side of it with the walking foot. And that's looking pretty damn spectacular. So now we're going to just work on this corner. So rather than making straight lines, let's go across on a bit of an angle. Let's make a little bit of a zigzag. All right, so the next one, we want to go from, say, either this way or that way to that way. Okay, so I'm thinking probably that way to that way. So wider this side, smaller this side. So we need a bit of fabric, maybe thinking the gold. So grab a bit of gold. The only reason why is that is because I'm alternating colours, okay? Just finished repairing my cousin dog coat now to make a Christmas one for her. Aww. So I'm going to sew, and I'm going to follow this. This is selvage, okay? So I'm going to follow that along. If I miss that, otherwise I'm going to get this plain colour in there. And I want it to go from that edge to that edge. Don't mind if it crosses over, but again, being silk, we do need to pin the little darling. Does have a lot of movement. It's just one end and the other. Yeah, well, we all have these little chores. When I get the girls in, if I've got any mending to do, the poor buggers, they cop my mending. So I can do other stuff when they come into work. Poor buggers. All right, so off the edge of the fabric, your wadding, just make sure you're right off the side there, which I wasn't. So I'm going to make sure I'm over here. Foot down, needle down. Oh, sorry, cut off. I don't want to do a decorative stitch. I just need a plain stitch. So let's go back up to the plain stitch. That would be silly to have a decorative. So let's try again. I can speed her up. Nice plain stitch across there. And you can hear that noise is it's hitting a couple of the ribbons of stuff. Okay, take that out. Let's go down so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Right, down this way. There we are. All right, so these bits here going to have to come off. And you remember the foundation piecing thing we did? You know, you can do the blade like that, or you can just get your scissors. I fold it all back sometimes when it gets close like that, and I'll just run the scissors across. Just be careful not to cut all that at the back. All right. I'm not overly fussy when it comes to these things, so some days I am, some days I'm not. So now it goes across an angle. Okay, so that's sort of where we're going there. Now this way to that way, we want to make it on a zigzag. So we want to come across the other way. So let's again chuck that pin in there, because I do want to cut some excess off that, because it's given me the illusion of it being absolutely massive, and I know it's not. So let's just cut it back so we can see where we need to go. And just go. And look, this does waste a little bit, but for me, I mean, that fabric's not going to get wasted. Like, I'm going to use that. It'll be in another project or something, but I am going to use that. So that gives me that corner, but I don't want to just leave it all gold in one big corner. So I want to actually now start on this angle and come across and put another colour there. And I'd be thinking we're going green. Okay, and I think we need to have a ribbon as well, some sort of trim. I'm thinking I might even use the back of the green. I don't know. I'll just have a quick squeeze at it. Nice big square. There we go. So I know I've got to go from there to there, which will be fine that way. So it's either that way. Oops, as you can't see, either that way or I do it that way. But I'm thinking that way might be a little bit too much like the gold. So maybe doing this way. And I think that we need to go from this corner across, turn it over. That's what we want to do. Go from there to there and create an angle. Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely going for that. So we'll take that to the machine, quickly sew that down. And then I think it needs a ribbon across it, because otherwise it'll be pretty bland, I think, without something. And I know it's blingy, but it'll still be bland. Green aside looks the best to me. Yep, I agree, Pat, 100%. I reckon that too. So take that little bit of gold off. Just trim it back. Now flip that baby over. That looks better, but I still think we need some sort of decoration in there. I might change it up to that one. But I might make it go across on a different angle, like across that way. So, because I don't want it to be all the one way, you know, like I don't want them to just go like that across. I want them to sort of look a bit, you know, different. So I might just pin that down, because that can be my corner piece of fabric. So just pin that down, just like that. So I'm thinking of going across, and I think that will look the best. So I want to go from that corner over to there, just like that. And it is a bit unruly, this ribbon, so I'm going to just pin one side there. That one can just, yeah, trim it off. Take her over to the machine. There we go. Now, I've got it pinned one side but not the other, so I'm just eyeballing that angle. Put down and needle down just to hold the little darling. Take that pin out, take that out, and just put my foot on it, literally my foot, and sew it down. Straight across. Okay, all right. That better. Now, I know it looks weird now, but when I turn it over, trim off this excess again. Just put that back again. I'm just going to trim that down. All right. That is going to look just fine there on the corner. Just nice. And that's all going to get cut off, all that bit there. So that's pretty much one side of it so far. So now all I have to do is concentrate on the other. So I've got my green across here. And I've, they've got all the pinks and everything and stuff. So I'm thinking that I might need some sort of embellishment just to break up that big piece of green. So I'm going to come across here with this. Yes, I know it's plain. That's okay. It'll just give me a different angle. So they're going that way. It's going to come across them. I might even sort of go right across there. So I'm going right across one side to the other. And then I'll be able to work across from there. So I'm just going to stitch that one down straight on top. Right. I'm coming across it. Let's go across it. Yeah. And down one end. And I'm just going to whip over to here. And one more on that end. Nice. It's getting quite a bit underneath it now, so it's just so this here I'm actually going to attach it to the bag, but you can make your blocks with your crazy quilting. They don't have to be 10 by 10 or 8 by 8. You can make them 40 inches wide by 24. You can make them any size you want to. It's just on how big it gets underneath your machine and how much you can handle at one given point. So even though I've got green and green, I now have a pink in the middle. So I can leave a little bit of green there and now maybe throw in a bit of gold. So I'm just having a look at what gold pieces I have that could be, quite handy. And maybe thinking that might actually go in there nicely. See? So it's just one of my little scrap bits that I had cut off. So I'm just going to stitch that down. Again, yes, very unruly. Good old silk. There. All right, so I'm going to stitch right across, okay? And also remember, I'm actually going to cut this back to the size it needs to be on the bag. So I haven't even talked to you about that yet. All right, so that now brings that down here. Take that out, trim off that massive corner. Like I say, it will not go to waste. I'll cut through everything. And then flip her over. Oops, take the pin out. Flip her over. Okay. And I'm just going to pin that down there. And probably going to come across. I don't think I even need to because I think that is absolutely plenty big enough. Yeah, it is plenty. I don't even need to. I can ignore that and just do one corner here and she's done. So, but maybe thinking, as I do, that I need to put some sort of embellishment over it. So, gotta love the bling. Gotta love the bling. And again, we have that really nice blingy sort of stuff. So I'll be thinking, that looks better. So let's just place that down, trim her off. Sit down, and I'm going to sew that down. Sewing down. So pin out. And keep it on a reasonably good angle. All right, so that has fixed up my boring corner. Yeah. Okay. Then we are going to probably just come across here and fill out that little area here. This one's going to get cut off, so I'm not stressing about that, baby. This here, needs to be covered over. I mean, I can cover that over as well, but it's just going to get cut off, so I'm not really stressing over it or anything like that. But I would be thinking we're going to be putting probably the gold as well, and I do have another bit that's from a corner piece that I cut off before, and I think that'll go just nicely across there. And like I said, again, a little bit of bling doesn't hurt anyone. So we'll stitch that down, and I'll top stitch some bling over the top of it, hey? And let's just do that. Then once we've done this, we're going to go for a cuppa and come back for another half-hour stitch for part 2, and let's attach. I'll see how I go with time because I'm getting a bit dry in the throat. So we'll see how we go, and I will attach it to the bag. I'll show you how to actually attach it. I'd like to get it all done in one session, but let's see how we go. Because we're already at an hour and a half, and you guys will be Snoresville by now. Itself, flip her over, and that's my corner. Sorry about that. I didn't show you that process. I just snipped off some little bits there, them off, flip it over, and that is down. So I'm actually thinking, I know there's a big chance it's going to get trimmed off, but I'm really thinking I would like to see something come from all the way over here and cross over. Even, yeah, stitch that down as well. But I don't want to use the same ribbon I just used before. I'm thinking like that. Yeah, maybe thinking. I think that would be good. And that will help hold that down in the corner and without, overkill. But it will still look pretty damn awesome. So let's do that. And we do have that little bit of, what's the name I showed you before, that little patch that came in with that silk fabric. So I'm going to want to stitch that down as well. So I'm going to try it with my walking foot, but I pretty much feel that it's going to be a free motion foot that's going to do it. I can go right across there. So what do you guys think? Do you think we should just keep trying, going and finishing it now, or come back after a cuppa? What do you reckon? So that will hold all that down. And I'll just zoom it out so you can see the whole thing. There she is. And you should see the mess all at the side here. Like, it is everywhere. But that gives you that's the top done. So we're not going to see all that, but I do have that little thing there, which cuppa I reckon too. So that's going to go on there. Now this actually it's like a button, so it actually has little tiny holes, so I can actually sew that down either by machine or by hand. And I'm really, really, really looking at going by machine. So let me just see if I can put that on without killing the actual button. Oops, there we go. We'll go back in, and we'll go and have a cuppa after that. Let me get this under. See if I can just do. Is it all? Maybe foot's down. Yep. So what I'm doing is holding the fabric. And putting the needle in that one hole over and over again, and then coming to the side of it, and just 2 stitches around. 2 stitches around. It is as a couple of stitches, and it is a button round. And because of all that gold trim on it, you're not going to see these green stitches. They are hidden. More past that thing. And all the way around. Back, and I'm going to knot off And I've done it. I got it on by machine. How cool's that? Kappa? Yep, I agree. Let's take that off. So let's trim that off there. Trim off the bottom. And a bit of the hairy bits got there. And I have done it literally. Where's that camera? There it is. By machine. She's on. All right. So, hi. So we'll go and have a cuppa and come back, and I will trim this up and we will put that on the cover of our Yazzi bag because love to decorate things. Sorry about the really close up. That's really scary. How scary is that? There we go. Look at my crap in the background. All right, so we will see each other soon. Give us about half an hour and we'll come back at 1 o'clock and we will finish by attaching this to the bag. It is basic as. See you soon. Bye.